order to reduce our ecological food footprint, we need to rethink the way we do our shopping and how we package and preserve food. With regard to planning purchases and preserving food rules, these are of fundamental importance in terms of reducing food waste, which has taken frightening proportions around the world, as around two-thirds of all the food produced worldwide is wasted, with serious impacts on global warming associated with the production of methane gas. To fulfill our low ecological impact purchasing plan, reading labels is crucial. They provide information on the origin of the food, the method of production, the method of capture, and the presence of processing. This information must always be present in our purchases to ensure our health and the health of our planet. Let's start by analyzing purchasing planning. Plan weekly meals. By planning our meals, we can define in advance what food to use and what we need to buy. It allows us to assess what we still have in the fridge, freezer, and larder, and thus define what we need to buy, preventing stored food from spoiling. The appeal of the most diverse marketing strategies to consumers is very imposing, and we are easily captivated into splurging on products that we don't need. With an organized shopping list, we buy only what we need, save money, and reduce food waste. Avoid going shopping at mealtimes or when we're hungry. This way, we avoid the risk of bringing something extra to fulfill a need of the moment. It's better to eat something before going shopping, and then it will be easier to resist temptation. Make smaller, more regular purchases. In this way, you can guarantee better preservation of food with a better nutritional level and more easily stick to your shopping plan. Prefer seasonal and organic. Buy seasonal fruit and vegetables, not just because they're cheaper, but because they're fresher and more nutritious. This way, we're also reducing our ecological footprint. When shopping, and in order to adhere as closely as possible to our shopping plan, it's crucial to gather as much information as possible about the foods, either from the producer or by reading labels. Directly knowing the producers of our food is essential for understanding how they cultivate them and what products they use, and for the producers to be more aware of organic farming methods. Since it is not possible to obtain information about food directly from the producer, it is essential to extract as much information as possible from the labels accompanying the food, which by law must be made available to the consumer. Through this analysis, we can obtain information about the origin of the food, the mode of production, organic or non-organic, the capture method, the composition of the food, allowing us to understand whether it is a natural food or a processed food. The greater the number of components in the product, the greater its degree of processing and the greater its ecological footprint. At the same time, higher will be the levels of fat, salt, and chemicals that affect our health. Choose to buy in bulk. By doing so, you'll save money and the planet too, as you'll be giving up the extra energy used in packaging the product. Avoid cross-contamination in the trolley or basket and in the bags you put your shopping in. Put the meat and fish in separate plastic bags so that the juices don't run off and contaminate the other food. Pack fruit and vegetables separately so that bacteria from the soil particles they may contain don't get onto the other foods. Know how to distinguish between best before date and expiration date. Consume by and best before, what's the difference? Consume by is used when products spoil quickly, for example, packaged meat, eggs, and dairy. After this date, the food should not be consumed. There is a risk of food poisoning. Best before is used for products that can be stored longer, for example, cereals, rice, canned goods, and spices. It is not dangerous to consume food after this date. At home, the food must be properly packaged so that it can be kept in the best possible condition for as long as possible. To do this, we need to observe a few basic rules. Keep the product in its original packaging whenever possible, to avoid loss and to guarantee product safety. Protect cardboard or paper packaging with a plastic bag to prevent it from getting wet. Alternatively, the food can be transferred to waterproof containers. Seal the packages with springs, preventing the loss of the product and altering its characteristics. Respect the storage rules indicated on food labels. Store the products with the longest shelf life at the back and those with the shortest shelf life at the front. Periodically check the condition of the food in the pantry, fridge, and freezer. Transfer the contents of the cans of food, for example chickpeas, mushrooms, tuna, sardines, once opened, into a jar or other container and place in the fridge or freezer. Consume within the next few days. See the number of days indicated on the packaging. Avoid overfilling the fridge and freezer, as too much food prevents the circulation of cold air and prevents food from being properly preserved. Frequently check the refrigeration and freezing temperatures, which should be below 5 Celsius degrees and minus 18 Celsius degrees respectively. The following general rules should be considered when packaging and preserving fruit and vegetables, other fresh, dried, and canned products. Dry vegetables thoroughly before storing them in the fridge. Don't wash them until you're ready to use them and make sure you keep them dry. Foods that spoil more easily, such as meat, chicken, pork, milk and its derivatives, and salads, should always be kept in the fridge. You should place the yogurts, cheese, cream, jams, and cooked foods in the upper area of the fridge, the coldest zone. The meat, fish, charcuterie products, open canned goods, and pastry products should be placed in the middle zone. Food with a long shelf life, for example tin food, flour, rice, should be stored in a cool, dry, and airy place. Powdered foods such as spices or grains should be stored in tightly closed containers. Once the metal packaging has been opened, the food should be placed in non-metallic containers with lids. The contact of the can with some foods in the air can cause a change in flavor. For the packaging and preservation of each type of food, consider the information in the following tables.